not that, not that. Let's see here. Interesting. It seems like the energy just keeps on going up. It fluctuates, it looks like. Okay, hold on. But it's not matching the other system. I don't understand. What am I doing wrong? Alright, we'll do another hard reset. No. Now it's all different again. This isn't making any sense. No. Okay. There's got to be something that I have. Nah. Jesus. Guess a bit of redstone wouldn't hurt. That doesn't seem like it did anything. Fantastic. Okay, that's fine. This doesn't change the formula even a little bit. I don't understand. What am I... Oh. Wait. Yeah, that kind of helped. Damn. It's bringing more consistent results. At that very least. Man, this is nothing like it used to be.
Shy? You home?
Huh? Huh? Yeah, yeah. I'm coming right up. I gotta pause that. Oh,
Hey.
hey. What brings you here? What's up?
Not much. I just, I don't know. A lot's been going on. I just wanted to check in on you, make sure that you're holding up okay, and...
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm constantly knee-deep in work, and it's nice to get some fresh air at least. So, how have you been?
Well, I've been better.
Better? Better how?
I don't know. I just... There's so much going on, and... I don't
Yeah.
even know how to feel about any of it anymore.
Listen, I don't blame you. It's been... It's been a roller coaster of emotions recently, I can tell you that much.
Yeah. I guess...
It's just tiresome, I suppose.
Yeah. I guess I just came over here to talk. And not like a talk about shit that's going on. I want to get my head off of everything that's going on in Marigold. All this shit, I guess I just came here for a distraction, I guess.
Well, I'll tell you what. I think a distraction is what we both need. Tell you what. How about you ask me a question, and I'll answer it for you. It doesn't even have to be, related to anything that's been going on, so.
Any questions at all?
Yeah,
Anything?
whatever.
What's your favorite color?
My favorite color?
Yeah.
Shoot, that would have to be bright reds and greens.
That's a good choice.
What about you? What's your favorite color, huh?
I'd have to say green, maybe yellow. One of those two.
Not bad, although I'm not particular to yellow myself. Not bad choices.
Yeah.
Man,
what?
The sun is pretty.
Yeah. Sunset's gorgeous. What was your hometown like? You talk about it every so often, but every time people ask about it, you're always like, oh, it's a long story.
Oh. Right, I suppose it is only fair that I delve into my past. At least a bit. So, I lived in what we used to call a mega city called Kurosaka. It's got buildings that reach to the stars. It was bright lights and display screens that displayed things without even screens being present. It was crazy technology. When I was a kid, I didn't think we'd ever reach, that level of beauty, but there it was. One day, though, things didn't seem so beautiful. I used to work as a doc, essentially in the same manner of what doctors we have nowadays, but instead of being a typical heal you doctor, I built things for people to put in their body, essentially. I replaced arms, I built combat tools, I helped militaries, I helped private organizations. I was good at cutting people open and making them better, essentially. That was my job. My family had a long line of people that I did my job with, but my father was completely opposed to the way of life that we chose to live. So, the generation of, I guess, implant docs were completely destroyed with him. But when I took up the mantle, it almost seemed natural. But after a while of doing something like that and supplying people big names with some of the most destructive and dangerous tech you can think of, and then having somebody who's poor as hell walking into the same shop and getting basically garbage, it just gets to you after a while. I don't like to think about, my old professions and what people would have thought, but I guess today's different. Back then we had all sorts of different ways to cure things that we didn't essentially understand. Like, for instance, there was this one store that quite a few people frequented that I didn't really have an interest in. It helped them sleep. It was sort of it was a pod that you slept in that was so cold that would freeze you. It was sort of a...
Freeze you?
Yeah.
How does... Don't you die when you get frozen?
Oh, I don't know what they did with it, but it was some sort of technology that kept the body warm and cold at the same time, so it was in a state of basically hibernation. It was a one-way trip to sleep, essentially. People would pay to go to these cryogenic hotels to sleep easier. It was a huge
Would
market.
would they wake up in the morning?
The attendees, they would switch out every night, and during, like I said, it was like a hotel sort of. They would go to these pods and wake these people up, when their due date was over, essentially. They would stay there for days, weeks, months, or sometimes even years, depending on how rich they are. It was a euphoric sense of sleep where you're able to basically dream and control your dream for as long as you want, while the body in real life is in a state of complete hibernation and safety. So,
That
yeah, it was cool on paper, but let's just say I don't have a very good history with cryogenis.
what do you mean by that? If you don't want to answer, you don't have to.
It's alright. I mean, of all the people who I'd like to talk to about it, it would be you. So back in my old world, there was a certain client that I always had, always coming in to get the coolest implants, but never used them for bad. It's hard to remember his name, but he was a really nice person. And often I would give him implants for free while he went to go do jobs, so he would pay me back in the money that he earned. I just trusted him that much. So, one day, I'm running the store, and his usual time has been completely missed. And I'm wondering, did the last job go okay? Is he gonna get my money back to me? But I wasn't worried about that. I was more worried about his health. Maybe the implant failed. Maybe I did something wrong. So I tried to get in contact with him. And when I couldn't do that, I figured maybe he's in his frequent spots, possibly in said cryogenic hotel. So here I am walking down the streets of probably the most dangerous town in Kurosako, which was Haywood. That's where I lived, essentially. It was the most dangerous of most dangerous. Only idiots would walk there alone. So I'm walking to the most back alley cryogenic hotel in the town, because that's a place he liked to frequent. And I asked the owner, is he here? I would like to talk to him. And as a matter of fact, he responded, he is here. And I guess a part of me was relieved, but afterwards something happened that I couldn't forgive him for. So it turns out he was working with a huge gang. A gang of people who steal implants from rich people and sell them on the black market. They're basically ripping parts of their body and selling them. And I just so happened... Yeah, it was bad. I just so happened to have one of the more expensive custom arms around, because I built it myself from the ground up, completely modified. It was a work of art, and it really helped me with my study and my work, but they saw it as something else, and they decided they wanted it too. So, after a fierce fight that I completely lost, they ripped my arm off, and they stole it. I was...
Oh my god.
bleeding, dying, but that wasn't enough for them. The man I trusted, he wasn't even looking at me in the eyes when they shoved me into one of the cryo chambers and put me to permanent sleep. If I'm not awake, I can't tell. And they can't kill me because they're in rival gang territory. So why not just keep me on sleep forever? They own the shop anyway. And that's what they did. But somewhere within the time that I was asleep, something went wrong. The city went into full war, maybe? I still don't exactly know. But Korsako was completely obliterated. It could have been storms, it could have been nuclear bombs, it could have been what have you. But the world that I knew, it was no longer. I dug myself out of that cryo chamber. I don't even know how I survived. And when I came to, after 2 hours of trying to exit this weird underground city that was essentially the past Korsako but now buried, I gathered what I could gather, started putting together some semblance of an arm because I needed a second one with some old tools, old parts, what have you. And I just left. I got out of there. Started walking for miles and miles, and I quickly realized that the world that I knew before is no longer with me. Everything's different. Everything's primal. The cities are becoming more modern, but they're nowhere near the technological level that they were at before. I don't know when that was. Or I don't. That was thousands of years ago, maybe. And everyone I've ever known, my family, the people I trusted, and possibly those gang members are now dead, long turned to bone. And here I am. And after months and years of walking to towns that I don't understand, I came across a kingdom called Gold Meridian, and this one town that I don't frankly remember very much of, but I spent a good amount of time there. Eventually I wandered here, and it's just been here ever since.
That... I'm so sorry you went through all of that.
That's why I don't like thinking about the old world. I put so much time and effort into my craft. So much... I was lucky to be living in a town like that and still alive and respected. I had a good life. And now that life is way behind me. And, frankly, kind of like this one better. Alright. I killed the mood. Enough about me. What about you? Well, where did you come from? Do you remember anything from your past?
Well, I remember the barn. Used to live on a barn in a farm with my family. I think it was just me, my mom, my dad for a while.
Interesting. There's
Something happened.
There's a time in my wanders where I came across a huge farm and a family of 4. What if that was you at a young age?
Yeah, it could have been. That'd be really funny, though.
I doubt it. That was years ago. But, I mean, interesting. Do you remember any of their faces, names, whatsoever? I mean, I didn't get to know the family of the barn, but, you know.
I wish I could say that I remember what my family looks like. I wish I could say that I even remembered how many family members I had. If I had even a mom and a dad. I think I had a mom and a dad. And I think it was just us. There could have been more. I don't remember. Everything before meeting Azazel is pretty fuzzy. Basically gone at this point.
That's terrifying.
Azazel was the one who knew everything. Now he's gone.
I'm sorry. It must be hard not being able to remember things like that.
I wish I at least remembered my family, you know? who I was before this, who they were before all this. All I know is that I lived on that barn with people, and then they were gone or something, and then Azazel moved in. And then Azazel took care of me. And then the barn burned down, and we ran into Citrus on our way here. She had been leaving as well or something. I don't know why, but we all met up and left and wandered here and found Marigold.
Right.
So
And Azazel was the cloaked one, right?
yeah,
I
never
don't
quite liked showing his face.
I don't really like him all that much. Anyway, yeah, it it terrifies me. Losing memories of the past. That's why even it's hard. You always have to come back to it because there's only one thing worse than thinking back on horrible memories, and that's losing them. That's why back in my old town, back in the old world, we used to have the technology to basically play back memories as if you were still there. It was something that I often did, and over time, it's hard to forget those memories. Like it's a vivid picture. Sometimes you can remember every little detail. It's terrifying to know that there are people nowadays, including you, that can't remember fundamental parts of their life. I couldn't imagine how scary that must be. I'm sorry, Wyatt.
I mean, most of my life it's been fine. If I forget something, Azazel remembers it, and then he tells me, but I came home from the freaking whatever we just did where we found that hell tree thing, and I came home and there was a letter in my mailbox, and Azazel just left. Didn't even say anything to me. Didn't say goodbye to me, just left me a letter.
You know what? I'm tired of people just leaving us. I'm tired of people coming to this town and making a name for themselves only to just abandon us. Jay,
I second
Azazel,
that.
who else? Who else is just gonna up and leave? You know, it's funny because I'm starting to see a pattern here. I don't like Jay, he leaves. Don't like Azazel, he leaves. Who's next, huh? I don't like Asher. Are they gonna leave?
Hopefully.
No, it's nice to talk about things like this.
Yeah. I have one more question. It's nothing heavy like we've been talking about.
Yeah.
Is
What's up?
Sai your full name? Is it like a nickname or something? What even is your full name? I don't know it.
Oh, I had to change my name because my name was associated with a dark past, the past of the old world. Um, but instead of just outright changing it, I kept it similar. People will never know what the full abbreviation would be of, Psy. But it's Simon. I'm Simon. My name is Simon Simmons. I know it's a funny
Simon
name.
Simmons?
It's a funny name. I know.
It's a little bit funny.
My dad was Frank Simmons. My mom, it's it's a it's
I
ironic.
still think Simon Simmons is a little bit funnier than Frank Simmons, but
All right. Yeah. This is why I'm named Psy. All right.
I don't know, Simon fits you.
I abandoned that name a long time ago because
Fair.
when I think of the name, I think of the past. But the past doesn't hurt me anymore. Simon as a name doesn't really hurt me anymore. This may sound crazy to you, but I started talking to myself in my head. Um,
I
it
mean, that
started to
doesn't
freak
sound
me.
that crazy.
I mean, it's the literal definition of crazy, but
I think everyone talks to themselves just a little bit in their heads.
that's not what this was. This was something else. Like two parts of me were talking to each other, and it was creepy at first, but over time, uh, it became apparent that it was just another part of me that I've forgotten, trying to work its way back into my brain, and it's gone now. But I'm starting to feel whole again. It's like
That's good.
I found a part of me that I didn't know I lost. Don't worry about it. Just know that the name doesn't bother me anymore. I'm surprised nobody's asked before you though. Sai isn't
I mean,
exactly the most common name in the world.
I don't think people really second guess anybody when they tell someone their name. Nobody's asked anyone what their, like, what does JD even stand for? Nobody's asked JD what JD even stands for. Is it
That's
just
true.
JD or is it short for something, you know?
Maybe it's spelled Jaydee. We just kind
I
of wrong this
doubt
whole
it.
time.
I feel like if his name was spelled Jaydee, like I feel like he would have told people that we're spelling his name wrong.
Well, what if in his youth he was always spelt wrong and he just kind of accepted it? Like when in the old world we had bus drivers, and the bus driver would tell you your name is wrong, and or the bus driver would say your name wrong, and you just give up eventually and just let them call you. I don't know. It's possible. We never really
I
asked them.
mean, yeah.
What about you, Wybie? Do you have a full name?
I mean, for what I remember, it's just YB. My last name, I never can remember what it is. I think it started with a B, but I could be completely wrong and I don't know, you know? But
B.
just YB works.
Huh. Is YB a nickname, or has it always been your name?
I think it's always been my name. It could be a nickname. Um, but it's what Azazel's always called me, so
Huh. Interesting.
that's what I go with.
Very
Oh,
interesting.
it is nighttime. We've been sitting out here for a while.
Huh. Would you look at that? I got so wrapped up in my own thoughts and talking about you, talking about me, that hours have gone by, hasn't they?
Yeah. Well, I should probably get back to my place. Oh, have you met Pedro? He's a pigeon, see?
Uh, yeah. A pigeon.
Yeah.
Cute pigeon, Wybie.
Thanks.
You finally got
Oh,
one.
Pedro. Yeah, I finally got one. I had to go back and adventure a little bit on my own. I finally got a pigeon.
Huh.
Alright, well, I'll leave you be now, Sai. It was nice talking, really.
It was. So it's always good to clear your mind of all the troubles of today and reminisce in the
Yeah.
past, even if we have very little of it.
Yeah. I agree. Alright. Well, I'll see you around. I feel like I'll be talking to you very soon.
Be careful on the way home.
I'll be okay. I can handle myself. Plus, I got Pedro.
You're right, that is a mean looking bird.
Yeah. Kick some ass if he needs to. Bye,
Remind me
Sai.
not to mess with Pedro.
Yeah, that's right.
Bye, Wybie.
Bye, Sai.
Interesting. Wybie doesn't remember anything. Not anything before Zazel. Huh. Maybe there's something I could do about that. Maybe there's something I can do about that. It wouldn't hurt to look into an implant that maybe reach into their memories. Huh. It doesn't seem too far-fetched. I could probably pull it off. But would they want me to? Maybe. I'll ask them about it next time. I can't believe that I actually had the chance to talk to somebody about my old knife, my old name, my old friends, and enemies. It's crazy to think that we're in a whole nother world. The technology here is nothing compared to what we had, but yet I'm still able to work as if nothing's ever changed. What a good distraction. I better get to work.